When you're with someone that's similar to you, the things about you annoy you, you know? Well, I think Daisy and Billy have, just like most love stories, a complicated love story where either they met each other at the wrong time or they were never meant to be together, or they are meant to be together in the future. And I think there's a lot of variables which makes it interesting. And there's a lot of things working against them. We meet Billy and he's in a relationship, you know, and that's a really complicated story between Billy, Camila, and Daisy. Honestly, I think that the less I say about the love triangle, the better, because I think it's very open for interpretation on how the audience feels about, you know, which characters should be together, shouldn't be together, and I think that it's such a subjective thing, you know?
It's a very complicated, complex love triangle. He's a man who's obviously very, very much in love with his wife and the idea of that, but at the same time he can't sort of lie about who he is and who he is deep down. And so as much as he's trying to cover the scars that Daisy also shares, it's a very complex triangle.
Hey there, what'll it be?
2 hickory burgers, medium rare, and 2 sides of fries, please.
I don't need you to order for me.
Well, good, because I didn't.
Yeah, I'll have the same. Come right up.
Well, Billy and Daisy both had parents who were not present emotionally and neglectful. I think neither of them felt loved, and I think that's something that they both really connect over throughout the show, is that sort of wound. Mom. Are they any good, or? You're a pretty girl, Margaret. When you're with someone that's similar to you, the things about you annoy you, you know? Doing the things about yourself that you don't maybe love, it really annoys you. They have a lot in common. I think they're both very talented. They're both very confident. They're both a leading man, you know? They're both a front man. They're both a little bit volatile and emotional and feel a lot. And so I think it's just like a little bit of a disaster when you combine them. But it also, you know, it creates beautiful art and passion, you know, an entire band.
The similarities between Daisy and Billy are what brings them together. The fact that they both had parents who abandoned them, the fact that they both have problems with addiction, even though Billy has sort of admitted the fact that he has one. Daisy is sort of not quite there yet. She thinks that she's in control of her addiction, though she's not. And, you know, it's quite clear that she's not as we go through the story. But I think it's the similarities, the scars that they both share that brings them closer, that attracts him. Also the fact that she is so musically gifted and, you know, understands his music, understands him as a person. Anyone who's been in that situation where you meet someone who is just like your soul partner, you know, in life, someone who completely understands you from the top to the toe, it's scary because you know that person understands you. Even if you're trying your best and you think you're doing your best at hiding something, they know like what's going on inside. And I think that, as much as it's scary, it's also very alluring, especially to someone who's an addict. There's something mysteriously attractive about it.
You write songs about who you wish you were, not who you are. What if you didn't do that? What if you wrote songs about the guy that's not so good all the time, and the guy that lets people down, and the guy that maybe wants things that he shouldn't?
Who'd want to hear a song about that?
I would.
I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless at this love stuff. I don't know. I think you know he does the right. He makes all the right moves. At the end of the day, he's in love with both of them, and I think that's a very plausible and possible thing that happens in life. But I think the fact that he stays with his wife and he pursues that, he makes the right moves. Maybe goes a little too far in the way of kind of how he expresses himself at times. He makes mistakes, but he learns from them, and I think that's all you can ask for. So I take advice from Billy, it's not the other way around.
I think she knows the advice I would give her ultimately, which is that you can love somebody and that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be with them.
Every lie is true at the time, baby, that's the thrill. But won't you let me down, let me down, let me down easy if you're gonna let me down. If you're gonna let me down easy if you're gonna let me down.
Billy and Camila meet at a laundromat in Hazelwood, Pittsburgh, and fall in love. Camila is Billy's first love and vice versa, and I always imagine them as kind of high school sweethearts and experiencing everything together for the first time. Camila makes the bold decision to leave her home, her siblings, her family, her education behind, really to follow Billy in his dreams because she just believes in him so wholeheartedly and authentically, and so she follows him to California, and the love story just, continues, and life presents its challenges, and they kind of persevere through everything.
Well, how about this? You give me your number, and I'll write you a song.
Wow. Has that line ever worked?
You tell me. It's the first time I'm using it.
Well, what I had to learn about this on-screen relationship was I had to kind of look at Camila as not, no judgment of her for taking Billy back after everything he does and after everything he puts her through. So that was challenging for me to learn from her, but I think that, just love prevails and love wins most of the time, hopefully, and it does for Camila and Billy, but that's a spoiler.
I'm gonna miss you.
Billy. Hey, man. Let's get this show on the road.
Okay. Go be a rock star.
All right.
Eddie's relationship with Camila is, he's known her since he was very young. They went to Sunday school together, they grew up in the same area. He fell in love with her and developed feelings for her very early on, and then when they were getting a little bit older, she met Billy, and so he takes her away. Or at least the opportunity to make a move, which he never did, unfortunately.
Eddie. So I had a hard time when I read the script and I saw that was added in there because I think I was so emotionally attached to the book and the idea of Camila never getting revenge or cheating on Billy back, and I kind of liked her purity and her wholesome, she just is who she is and she was never going to hurt someone back. And then, I talked a lot to Scott and all the writers, and we went back and forth, and I was like, are you sure this is the right decision? I don't want her to cheat on Billy. But the way that they described it to me was really justified, and it wasn't about revenge necessarily or vengeance. I think that it was about a woman coming into her own and having a secret of her own and something to feel powerful and desired and wanted again in a relationship that I think got very loveless in a lot of ways or dismissive in a lot of ways. And so when I heard it in that capacity, I understood kind of the justification as to a woman needing to do something for herself in order to survive in that moment. And I think in a lot of ways Camila was drowning in that relationship, and that was her way of getting back up.
Well, the songs are really good.
But that's another thing. I haven't even heard the songs yet. When you guys were making the first album, I felt like I was a part of it somehow. Maybe I just need something of my own.
It's definitely a slow burn in the beginning with Graham kind of testing the waters and eventually, being rejected and then eventually accepted and then rejected again. It's a lot of ups and downs, but it's been really fun so far.
Karen and Graham, I think Karen is initially maybe not so into him, and then it kind of grows, and I think she sees how talented he is, how great he is with shredding a guitar, and who doesn't love that. Their relationship you know, enhances and she sees the goodness in him. And I think Karen is somebody that is difficult to crack. She's hard to kind of soften, and he definitely does do that to her, but she is so aware of the implications of the time, you know, also in the 70s, and like what it would mean for them to be together, because the most important thing to her is the group and what they're able to create together, and all of the things that happen between everyone, I think she's trying to avoid. She's seeing what can happen. She sees it with Daisy and Billy, and I think she wants to preserve what's most important to her, which is keeping this band together, which is not that easy. It's like a whole marriage in itself. I think that is always weighing heavily on her, but she falls very hard for Graham, and I think it's incredibly difficult for her to let go of him, and I don't think she ever forgets him. He'll be the kind of, you know, the love of her life, I think, forever.
How are you and Graham?
Wait, what? He told you?
I've known Graham since he's 17 years old, okay? I've never seen him smile this much in his life.
We're just having fun.
Just? Why just?
It's like the Dreamweaver moment in Wayne's World, you know, where everything like blacks out and there's just a spotlight. I mean, that's what I was imagining in my head. No, he's totally smitten, and actually makes a move right off the bat to very little reception. But yeah, he's pretty much set on that from the beginning.
We should just go for it, don't you think? I mean, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you know, they both warm up to each other from being in the band, and Graham is kind of slowly chipping away at maybe getting a yes someday, gets a few more no's. Yeah, eventually they realize that, you know, they do have feelings for each other and go at least a little bit of the distance.
I mean, I think when they first meet, Karen is kind of just disinterested in him generally, and it's really something that grows. And then it's obviously like very exciting when they get together and they're in a band, and the secret element. She's kind of promiscuous, like she doesn't want to be held down by anyone. She's enjoying herself as a girl in the 70s should. Yeah, I think she's always aware of this looming fear, which I guess is also quite attractive too, but it's a kind of a looming fear of like, I don't know if Graham can, you know, not just fall in love, which she can feel happening, and then, you know, but then she also softens to it and she falls in love with him, which I think takes her by surprise, really. I imagine that she has a mother that she doesn't want to mimic, who was like raised in the 50s, and she's tried to get far away from that. Like she's sacrificed a lot for this and for her dreams. When she falls pregnant, she's got this incredibly difficult decision to make, especially in that time when it's not you know, probably wasn't very acceptable. Ultimately, she decides to the road that she has to take, and I think it leaves like a huge hole in her heart. They ultimately don't end up together, but I think that's something that I love so much about the book and the writing, is that all the love stories don't necessarily end out as the perfect love stories that maybe that you are hoping for, but they're still such strong love stories, and I think that's how life usually is, which is lovely to see on screen, I think. Graham kind of like says we can keep it a secret, and he's like, we'll play it all cool, and then he kind of goes back on that and he's not cool, and when Karen gets pregnant, a kind of different side to him comes out, the side that she was worried about. He's angry, he kind of wants to take that control over their relationship. So I would probably tell her, like, girl, you just trust your instinct, like.
Calm down, man, you know, it'll work out. Just chill.
Honeys, I'm home. Hey, you guys heard from Billy yet?
No.
It's interesting, like, I'm sure the answers from everybody else might be a lot more complex, but like Warren is kind of amazing in this show because as time goes on, between when he's 19 and when he's 47, he's kind of like the same guy. Sometimes he'll see what's going on, right? There's this weird drama, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I don't know, like, let's play this song, man, let's go out, let's party, let's have fun, you know? And so like the drama kind of seems to slide off of him in a way that's like amazing. Yeah, there's moments where he'll like notice things, like, oh, Graham hasn't really been like going out with us, he's not really getting with any of these groupies, like, what a weirdo, whatever, let's get out of here, haha. Like, it just seems to like not really concern him that much. You know, the fact that we're here and like that we happen to be lucky enough to be in the situation is enough.
Bill, do you think it's time to add a little fire?
Don't overthink it. I'm the fire.